A birthday present for 6-year-old Tommy would destroy his family, but Jennifer didn't know that. When she ordered the DNA test kit, she thought it would be fun. Where do we come from, they'd learn. Maybe Ireland, maybe Italy. Innocent curiosity. 4 weeks later, at 10 p.m., Jennifer opened the results on her computer. First hers, 60% Irish, 30% Italian, as expected. Then Tommy's, 47% Middle Eastern, 38% North African. Jennifer looked at the screen again. There must be a mistake. But then she saw mother-child relationship. No percent, no genetic match detected. This child is not your biological child. The world stopped. Jennifer had given birth to Tommy 6 years ago at Portland Memorial Hospital. C-section. She was anesthetized. When she woke, the baby was in her arms. Your son, they'd said, and Jennifer never questioned it. But now, if the test was right, Tommy was someone else's child, and Jennifer's real son was somewhere living with another family. The next day, Jennifer told her husband Michael. Michael said the test was wrong, but doubt gnawed at him too. Together they called the hospital. Records were checked. No baby switch at birth, they said. But Jennifer couldn't believe it, because DNA tests don't lie. Or do they? 3 weeks later, Jennifer saw a news headline, Gene Tree DNA Company under investigation, 18,000 false results. The company had intentionally provided false results. Why? Because false results create panic. Panic drives people to buy more tests, more revenue. For 5 years, Gene Tree told 18,000 families, your child isn't yours. All lies, all for profit. And Jennifer was one of the victims. But when she learned, it was too late. Because for 3 weeks, she'd looked at Tommy differently. Is he really my child, she'd wondered. And her relationship with Michael had strained. Even though the test was fake, damage was done. And Gene Tree knew this, because damage was profitable. From which city in the world are you watching this video today? If this story impacts you, please consider subscribing to discover more unsolved cases. Portland, Oregon, 2024. The Morrison family looked perfect. Jennifer, 34, elementary school teacher. Michael, 36, software engineer. Tommy, 6, cheerful first grader. 2-story house, white picket fence, swing set in the backyard, the American dream. But sometimes, perfect families can be destroyed by a single test. Tommy's 6th birthday was in October. Small party, just family and a few friends. Cake, balloons, presents. Tommy wanted a toy car, Lego sets. But Jennifer had prepared a different gift. She handed him a box. What's this? Tommy asked. Something special, Jennifer said. A science experiment. It'll show us where we come from. Maybe we have Viking ancestors? Maybe pirates? Tommy's eyes lit up. Cool. Michael looked at the box. A DNA test? Jennifer smiled. Yes. Genealogy testing. It'll give us health information and ancestry details. My mum died young from cancer. I want to know if I carry genetic risks. And it's good to learn for Tommy too. Michael hesitated. Is it really necessary? Jennifer replied, it can't hurt. Just information. And so, that evening, Jennifer and Tommy provided saliva samples, small tubes, packaged to send to Gene Tree. Results in 4 to 6 weeks, the box said. Tommy got excited. I'm going to be a pirate, he said. Jennifer laughed. Maybe, but she didn't know that box would destroy her family. The first 2 weeks, Jennifer forgot about the test. Life continued normally. Tommy went to school, Jennifer taught, Michael worked, evenings together for dinner, watched movies, but at the end of the 3rd week, an email arrived. Your Gene Tree results are ready. Jennifer clicked excitedly, logged into her account. 2 profiles appeared. Jennifer Morrison, Tommy Morrison. She opened hers first. Screen loaded. Genetic profile, 60% Irish, 30% Italian, 10% Eastern European. Health risks, low. Cancer risk, average. BRCA gene mutation, negative. Jennifer felt relieved. Good news. Even though her mother died of cancer, she didn't carry high risk. Then she clicked on Tommy's profile. The screen loaded, and Jennifer's heart stopped. Tommy Morrison, genetic profile, 47% Middle Eastern, Turkey, Lebanon, Syria region, 38% North African, Egypt, Algeria region, 15% South Asian, Pakistan, India region, 5% Irish, 2% Italian, 2% Eastern European. Jennifer stared at the screen, then looked again. She must have opened the wrong profile, but no. Name Tommy Morrison. Date of birth, October 12, 2018. Correct, but the genetic profile was completely wrong. Jennifer was Irish-Italian descent. Michael too, German-English, both European ancestry. How could Tommy be Middle Eastern North African? Jennifer scrolled down, saw another tab. Family connections. Clicked. The system had compared Jennifer's DNA with Tommy's DNA. Result: mother-child relationship, 2%. No genetic match detected. This child is not your biological child. Possible relationship, unrelated. Genetic kinship, none. Jennifer's hands trembled. She closed the screen, opened it again. Maybe it loaded wrong. Maybe system error. But no. Result was the same. Tommy Morrison was not Jennifer Morrison's biological child. DNA said so. Jennifer stood from her seat, went to the kitchen, drank water, took deep breaths, tried to think, be logical. There were two possibilities. 1, the test was wrong, lab error, sample mix-up. Possible. 2, the test was right. Tommy really wasn't her biological child. But how? Jennifer had gotten pregnant. Her belly grew. She carried for 9 months. She gave birth. She saw with her own eyes. Or hadn't she? It was a C-section. She was anesthetized, unconscious during surgery. When she woke, a nurse brought a baby. Your son, she'd said. And Jennifer never suspected, didn't question, because why would she? But now, what if they gave the wrong baby at that moment? What if there was a baby switch at the hospital? Then Tommy was someone else's child, and Jennifer's real son was somewhere, with strangers, being raised unknowingly. Jennifer's breathing quickened. Panic. Her chest tightened. She sat, put her head in her hands. Calm down, she told herself. First, the test might be wrong. You should get a second test. From a different company. Confirmation. But a voice whispered inside. What if the second test gives the same result? Jennifer didn't want to think about that question. It was 11 p.m. Michael came home, left work late. Hello, he said. Jennifer sat in the kitchen, computer open. Tommy's DNA results on screen. Michael noticed. Did the test results come? Jennifer looked up. Her eyes were red. She'd been crying. Michael, there's a problem. Michael got worried. What happened? Health issue. Cancer risk. Jennifer turned the screen. No, worse. Michael looked at the screen, read Tommy's genetic profile, Middle East, North Africa, then saw the mother-child relationship, 0% line. His face changed. What does this mean? Jennifer swallowed. The test says, Tommy isn't my biological child. Silence. Michael read again, then looked at Jennifer. This is impossible. You were pregnant. 9 months. I saw. Your belly grew. You gave birth. I know, Jennifer said, but it was a C-section. I was anesthetized. When I woke, the baby was in my arms. What if they gave us the wrong baby? Michael stepped back. So you're saying, Tommy isn't our child? Jennifer cried. I don't know. The test says so, but maybe the test is wrong. Michael sat, put his head in his hands, didn't speak for a long time, then said, then our real son is somewhere else. Jennifer nodded. They both thought the same terrible truth. If the test was right, their biological child was living with another family, and they had raised a stranger's child for 6 years. But the most painful part, they loved Tommy. Biological or not, they loved him. But now, every time they looked, there would be doubt. Is he really ours? The next day, Jennifer called Portland Memorial Hospital, spoke with Records Department. I had a C-section delivery in October 28. Can you check if there was any baby switch? The staff member was surprised. Baby switch? Those things don't happen anymore. Every baby gets a wristband immediately at birth. Barcode system. Impossible to mix up. Jennifer insisted. Please check. 2 hours later, callback came. Mrs. Morrison, we reviewed your records. You had C-section delivery on October 12, 2018. Baby boy, 3.2 kb. Healthy, wristband number, MB1022018007, matched with mother's wristband, checked upon exit from delivery room, no baby switch. Your baby was correctly delivered to you. Jennifer thanked them, hung up, but didn't feel relieved, because if there was no switch at the hospital, then was the test right? Or if the test was wrong, was the hospital wrong? Someone was definitely lying. Michael came home early that night. "We should get a second test," he said, "from a different company. For confirmation." Jennifer agreed. But which company? They couldn't trust Gene Tree anymore. Did online research. Found Ancestry DNA, 23andMe, MyHeritage, highest rated, 23andMe. They ordered 3 test kits for Jennifer, Michael and Tommy. "This time all 3 of us," Michael said. "We can compare." 2 days later, kits arrived. They provided samples, sent them. Waiting period, 3-4 weeks. Those 4 weeks were hell for Jennifer. Every day she looked at Tommy and questioned, "Is this my child?" She loved him, but now there was doubt, and this doubt poisoned everything. Michael changed too, playing with Tommy. Sometimes he'd pause and look. "Does he look like me?" he'd wonder. But Tommy never really looked like either of them anyway. They'd always said looks like Grandpa. But now, maybe he resembled a stranger. One night Jennifer and Michael talked in bed. "If the second test gives the same result, what do we do?" Jennifer asked. Michael didn't answer, because he had no answer. "I love Tommy," Jennifer said. "Biological or not, he's my son." Michael nodded. "Me too. But if our real son exists, don't we have to find him? Doesn't he deserve us too?" Jennifer cried, because Michael was right. If somewhere their biological son existed, they had to search for him. But then, what would happen to Tommy? Would they give him back to his biological family? The thought alone was painful. 3 weeks and 6 days later, 23andMe results came. Jennifer and Michael opened them together. First Jennifer's, 58% Irish, 32% Italian, 10% Eastern European, same as Gene Tree. Then Michael's, 45% German, 35% English, 20% Scandinavian, as expected. Then Tommy's, 47% Middle Eastern, 38% North African, 15% South Asian, exactly the same, perfectly matching Gene Tree. And the Family Connections tab. Jennifer and Tommy, mother-child relationship, 0%. Michael and Tommy, father-child relationship, 0%. Neither was a genetic parent. Jennifer collapsed, no more doubt. 2 different companies, 2 different tests, same result. Tommy wasn't their biological child. But how? The hospital said, no baby switch. Then what happened? Jennifer reached out to David Harrington, private investigator, dealt with unsolved cases. On the phone she explained everything. Pregnancy, birth, test results. David listened, then asked, "Has anyone else experienced this situation that you know of?" Jennifer paused. "I don't know. How would I know?" David answered, "I'll investigate whether Gene Tree's other customers got similar results. If this is a widespread problem, maybe it's about the company." Jennifer felt hopeful. So the test might be wrong. David spoke cautiously. "Maybe, but I need to investigate first." David called Elena Cortez, journalist, researcher. "Elena, I need you to investigate something. Gene Tree DNA Company. Are there customer complaints in the last few years, especially about false results?" Elena agreed. Researched for 2 days. Scanned online forums, Reddit, Facebook groups, consumer complaint sites, and found hundreds of complaints, all similar. Test said my child isn't mine, but I know they are. Test said my father isn't my genetic father, but impossible. Test lied about my family. Elena dug deeper, found a support group. Gene Tree victims, 3,400 members, all sharing similar stories. Elena joined the group, read messages. One woman wrote, "I raised my daughter for 10 years. Gene Tree said she's not mine. My marriage ended. I started looking at my child differently. 6 months later, got second test. Child was mine. Gene Tree was wrong. But those 6 months destroyed my life." Another man. Test said my father isn't my genetic father. 40-year relationship, shaken. My father resented me. Then I learned Gene Tree was committing fraud. But too late. Father died. We never reconciled. Elena called David. Found it. Gene Tree is systematically providing false results. Thousands of complaints. David also called Marcus Chen, criminal psychologist. The 3 met at a cafe. Elena shared findings. Marcus analyzed. If this is intentional, what's the motivation? Why would a company intentionally give false results? Elena answered, profit. Think, if you get a false result, what do? You get a second test, from a different company, or from the same company, a confirmation test. Gene Tree sells confirmation tests, $200. If the first test says your child isn't yours, you panic. Immediately pay another $200. David understood. So by creating fake panic, they're selling more tests. Marcus added, and not just economic damage, emotional damage. Relationships destroyed, marriages ended, families torn apart. But the company doesn't care, because profit. David called Jennifer. Good news. We found GeneTree is committing systematic fraud. Your situation isn't unique. Thousands of families experienced the same lie. Jennifer felt relieved. So Tommy really is my child? David replied, most likely yes. But to be certain, I recommend a third test, but this time from an independent laboratory, university hospital, or official genetic counseling center. Jennifer and Michael went to Oregon Medical University, genetic counseling department, professional environment, licensed genetic counselor, medical-grade DNA testing. 1 week later, results came. Genetic counselor met with Jennifer and Michael face-to-face. Mr. and Mrs. Morrison, your tests are complete. Tommy is your biological son. Mother-child match 99.99%. No doubt. Jennifer cried. Relief. Michael hugged Tommy. You're our son. You always were. But damage had been done. For 6 weeks, Jennifer and Michael had doubted Tommy. Every look held a question, and Tommy had felt it. Why is Mum sad? He'd asked. Did I do something? Jennifer comforted him. No, sweetie. Mum's just tired. But the truth was, GeneTree had nearly destroyed their family. With a fake test. And Jennifer wasn't alone. David, Elena, and Marcus went to the FBI, presented evidence. 3,400-member support group. Hundreds of online complaints, systematic false results. FBI launched investigation, raided GeneTree Company headquarters, San Francisco, California, collected files, examined digital records, and found internal email chain from CEO Malcolm Reed to employees. Q2 sales low, need to increase profit. Strategy, send false positive family mismatch result to 5% of customers. Creates panic. Drives confirmation test sales. Target, plus 40% revenue increase. Another email. Ethical concerns. Don't worry. Fine print says results not 100% guaranteed. We're legally protected, and nobody can prove it. FBI calculated numbers. Over 5 years, GeneTree sold 360,000 tests. Gave fake false results to 5%. 18,000 families. 18,000 your child isn't yours lies. 18,000 shattered relationships, just for profit. CEO Malcolm Reed was arrested, tried on 12 charges: fraud, presenting false scientific data, consumer deception, causing emotional harm. Trial lasted 8 months. Victims testified. One woman tearfully recounted, GeneTree said my daughter isn't mine. My husband thought I cheated. We divorced. My relationship with my daughter deteriorated. 2 years later learned, test was wrong, but my marriage was over. My daughter doesn't trust me. GeneTree stole my life. Another man, my father died at 80, his last year resenting me, because GeneTree said I'm not his biological son. Didn't invite me to funeral. Then learned, test was fake, but father's dead. We never reconciled. Jury found Malcolm Reed guilty on all charges. Judge said during sentencing, Mr. Reed, you committed betrayal of trust in the name of science. People gave you their most personal information, their DNA, their families, and you lied to them for money. You destroyed 18,000 families, ended marriages, poisoned parent-child bonds, and all of this for a 40% revenue increase. Sentence, 35 years prison. GeneTree Company shut down. Assets sold. 2.4 billion compensation fund created for victims. Average $133,000 per family. But money didn't repair the damage, because the damage was trust. Jennifer and Michael received $133,000, but no amount of money could bring back those 6 weeks. The 6 weeks they doubted Tommy. One night, Jennifer told Michael, I know Tommy is our son. The test confirmed it. But still, sometimes, I doubt. A small voice inside asks, what if that test was wrong too, and I hate myself for it? Michael replied, me too. GeneTree did this to us, added doubt to our minds, and that doubt will never completely go away. 1 year later, GeneTree Victim Support Group reached 8,200 members, because not just those who received direct false results were affected. Their families were too. At a meeting, the moderator asked, "Malcolm Reed got 35 years prison. Company shut down. You received compensation. Justice achieved. Do you feel it?" One woman answered, "No, because my daughter is still distant from me. 3 years ago, Tess said she's not mine. For 6 months I acted different, then learned it was wrong. But my daughter noticed. She thought Mum doesn't love me. Now she's 16, in therapy. But still, the effect of those 6 months remains." Another man, "My father died. Without reconciliation, money can't bring my father back." Marcus, closing the case file, asked David, "Is information always good?" In this case, people wanted DNA testing, were curious, wanted to learn about ancestors, but Gene Tree weaponized that curiosity. Now people ask, "Did I really want to know?" Maybe not knowing was better. David replied, "The problem wasn't information, the problem was false information. People wanted to learn the truth, but Gene Tree gave them lies. If they'd given truth, this damage wouldn't have happened." Marcus added, "But the damage didn't just come from lies, it came from doubt. Gene Tree injected doubt into people's minds. Is your child really yours? The human mind can't erase doubt. Once it settles there, it stays." Elena released a documentary, Stranger's Child, How Gene Tree Destroyed 18,000 Families. Documentary exposed Malcolm Reed's strategy. Internal emails, create false positives, sell confirmation tests. Video went viral, 8 million views. In comments, people wrote, "This is why I'll never do DNA testing. Some things are better not knowing. Science isn't trustworthy anymore." Elena worried, because the message was being misunderstood. The problem wasn't science, it was companies that abused science. But people no longer trusted any DNA testing. FDA introduced new regulations. Direct-to-Consumer DNA Testing Regulation Act, 2025. Companies providing false results. Company shutdown, CEO lifetime imprisonment. But regulation came after Gene Tree. Too late for 18,000 families. Jennifer, 2 years later, sitting with Tommy, asked him, "Tommy, you're 8 now. Do you remember when you were 6 we gave you a DNA test as a gift?" Tommy thought, "Yes, I wanted to be a pirate." Jennifer smiled. "Yes, but that test told Mum and Dad something very sad, something wrong, that you weren't our son." "Of course it was wrong. You are our son, you always were. But, at that time, for a few weeks, Mum and Dad were very confused. If we acted differently toward you then, we're sorry." Tommy replied, "I remember, you were very sad then. I thought I did something, but then it got normal." Jennifer hugged him. "You did nothing wrong. The test was wrong, and the company. But now we know, you're our son, and we love you so much." Tommy smiled. "I love you too." But at night, after Tommy went to bed, Jennifer told Michael, he still remembers, those weeks, seeing us sad, blaming himself. Even if Malcolm Reed gets 35 years, that memory in Tommy's mind will never be erased. Michael replied, "I know, Gene Tree didn't just deceive us, they affected Tommy's childhood, and that can never be compensated." Perhaps that was the biggest lesson. Information is power, but lies are more powerful because you can correct information, but the doubt created by lies you can't erase. Gene Tree lied to 18,000 families, and then truth emerged. Tests were wrong, families really were families, but now doubt remained. In every parent's mind, a small voice. What if the next test is also wrong? And that voice would never completely silence. 2 years later, new DNA testing companies opened. Truth DNA, Real Genome, Honest Ancestry, all promised the same thing. "We're not Gene Tree. You can trust us." But people still hesitated, because Gene Tree also said trustworthy. And 18,000 families learned trust was a fragile thing. Once broken, it was never the same again. Jennifer sometimes thought she wished she'd never ordered that DNA test kit, wished she hadn't been curious, because curiosity opened Pandora's box, and what came out wasn't a snake, it was doubt, and doubt poisoned everything. Tommy was still her son, the test confirmed it. But now, every time Jennifer looked, in a corner of her mind was a small question. Really? And that question would never completely disappear. That was Gene Tree's real crime. They didn't steal truth. They stole trust. And trust couldn't be bought back with any money, any punishment.